Welcome back, everybody. I'm Burner. This is The Walking Dead Road to Survival, and we're just going to do some random streaming here. I'll probably get some raids in, see if we can get some of these collection parts. Um, I also have gone through the first road map, so I'll probably claim some of the gateway gear tokens, and if we have three, we'll do our first pull, see if we get any luck out of that. Otherwise, it'll kind of just be random. Whoever drops in, drops in. And we'll kind of see where things take us, see what we can do to make things interesting or just have some discussion. Maybe for now, I didn't really give a big heads up on this one, so I think we'll probably just, let's jump in, and there's new Peacekeeper roadmap opened up. We'll just start kind of hashing on that, see if we can get a person or two on, and get some discussions sparked a bit. Other than that, nothing too exciting. The road maps have been an interesting twist. It's been nice to kind of get a challenge, be restricted a bit with what teammates you can use. Also restricts the faction a bit as far as what faction allies are useful, because there's restrictions there. So a nice little challenge. It's probably been the first time that I've actually had to use any items, or probably actually that I haven't been able to just auto through most of the road maps or anything else that popped up. So nothing wrong with the challenge ever, so that's kind of nice. You can see here, even in these early stages, on the first act where we're not limited, just throw it on auto and let things run their course. But that's kind of how it's been for the most part. Hey, the real Rick, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you as always. Just kind of running through the losing my words. Just running through the road map right now, waiting for some people to get on. Looks like we got a couple coming in. Like I said at the beginning, probably do some raids here. See if we can pick up any of these collection pieces. And then I've gone through the first road map, the Rebel one, so we'll kind of claim some tokens. And if we have three, we'll go ahead and do a pull. See if we can get lucky with some live streaming. Yeah, the new events have been pretty good though. Yeah, I woke up and when I had all the notifications, like I thought my game just broke. I'm like, how they have this many things going on? Between the ultra rare gear drops and the gateway token drops, there's just a lot of things falling out of the game right now. So that was kind of nice to see. Other than that, I thought I'd throw in a couple raids. If anybody has ideas on some things you want to see me do or try out, we can give that a run. But, kind of lazy night. Thought I'd piece it together, see if we can have some discussion, see what's going on out there with everybody else. Let's see. After this one, we'll do a raid or two, and then we'll check. We'll go ahead and see how many gateway gear tokens we can pull up. I feel like each roadmap's probably going to give us enough for each pull. I haven't really been counting, but it seems like with 3 acts and getting a fair amount of those D cell batteries shouldn't be too much of an issue. That's what it feels like. Feels like they set us up for token per. What about you, Rick? Have you managed to do a pull yet? You kind of waiting towards the end. If you guys haven't watched me before, there's kind of two ways I raid. I raid for resources mostly, and then if I just happen to fall on somebody with a higher rank than me, then I'll raid for rep. But a lot of times it's just trying to find resources. I'm not a huge. Uh, I don't care too much about rep a whole lot. I like to keep it, up to respectful for where my faction's at. Make it not look like I'm not pulling my weight, but other than that, I kind of just it's wherever it is. Yeah, Rick, you're right. New Heath looks pretty solid. Let's go take a peek at him real quick. So New Heath here, all teammates getting 85% attack and defense for 4 turns. 56 is a little slow, but you can definitely boost that with the number of AP boosting weapons, good AP boosting leaders that we have out there. Plus the command, there's not a lot of green commands. I can really only think of Green Morgan right now. There might be more than that, but it's the only one that really sticks out in my mind. So having another green command is a big plus for him. And like I said, if you can get that AP boosted a little bit to where he's going off around the same time as your 45s, if you're up against tough competition, having that attack and that defense on the back end is really nice. Right now, as you guys just saw in the raid I did, I actually use Lee's buff, which is only 40%. Before I do my AoE attacks. So I mean, this is going to give me, almost twice the buff that I'm getting now if I got lucky enough to get this Heath. So even in my team, this would be a great support guy I'd put in there. Another reason I say that is, as you can see with the raid we just did, I don't use Lee's shield that much. So I'm using him basically for that buff. I do like the fact that he's a big hitter, so I'd lose that a little bit, but I think with what I would gain in damage from Heath's buff here, that's probably who I would swap out. Either that or Krista, but because a lot of times I don't use Krista. It's sort of just nice if she goes off with everybody else, but if she doesn't, it doesn't really hurt my outcomes. So Heath would definitely be a plus. Um, Let's see. Let's take a look at Lee. I think it's 40. Yeah, he does. He's a hard hitter, and then he does a 40 for 1. So I mean, having Heath do more than twice the buff and then lasting for 4 rounds. I mean, I don't expect people to still be alive, but upper level competition, especially if I've said it before, if some reds are hidden, if I go in and I just get hit with some reds that I'm not expecting, it can kind of draw it out. That's usually when I have the most trouble. So I think having Heath in the team would definitely be a plus. So yeah, I'd definitely like him in my team as I'm using mostly melees anyway. Let's see. Let's try to find one more raid, and then we'll see how many of those tokens we can pull up. Yeah, 597, 165, and there we go. Let's get some resources. As with a lot of raiding, you kind of see a lot of the same characters repeatedly and kind of know what sort of strategy is best for your team. Like there, I'm perfectly okay with Dwayne popping off because I know he's not really going to do any damage. Uh, it's kind of just a nice way to work through. Wow, that was surprising. I said that and then Dwayne kind of messed up my plans. Alright, let's get Davey out of the way. Guess I'm not paying enough attention. So this is usually what Krista does. Things get hairy. She goes off next turn, so nothing too huge. She doesn't get a whole lot of use, but it's kind of almost like a safety valve for my raid team to get me through any humps that I might hit. That and I don't have a strong enough fifth player that to really push her out. I don't have anybody that's just an obviously better choice to put in that fifth spot. So I've been kind of playing around with her there for maybe like a week or two, and I kind of like it. Like I said, it's really nice when she goes off with everybody else, just because no matter what happens with all those AoEs, you're still going to get another round of attacks. So that's pretty nice. Yeah, I was thinking about waiting to the end with my tokens too, but just with the vast number of roadmaps we're getting, I think we're gonna get a fair amount of tokens. So I thought doing a live stream and having a token pool and having something else to see as opposed to me raiding and just doing random parts of the game. I think it'd be kind of fun to have an actual live token opening. So we'll see how that goes. Go ahead and jump here. I think, like I said, I think the roadmap's going to give us one. Yeah, yeah. It's part of the comic line. I won't throw any spoilers out there. And you've seen it. I think a 3-star Heath is missing a leg too, the alert version. So definitely something from the comic side that's a nice touch. I talked to some of my friends that watch the show but haven't read any of the comics. And some of them who've seen it, it's one of the things I talk about. I don't know if that's something they'll be able to do in the show. I think part of that, a large part of that is just the money for doing, all the CG that they would have to do every time he's in the scene. I think that's one of the main reasons they decided to let Rick keep his hand as long as he has so far. It's just because it would kind of be a pain. One of the arguments is they obviously did it with Herschel. They had Herschel without a leg and kind of going around, but it's a little bit easier to hide that because a lot of that's below the camera. So it'll be interesting to see how involved Heath kind of is. The way that good episode they had that focused on him and Tara, I felt like brought him in. So we might see Heath in the future. I think that would be really cool because they have a great actor working for him. Hey, Vegans Chan, what's up, man? Great to see you up again. Basically, as you can see, doing a couple raids. We're going to open up some of these tokens and see if we have enough to do a pool. And then we'll do a live stream pool, which I think would be kind of interesting for the subs to see, as opposed to just kind of basic raids and whatnot. Well, we have 2. Can we get lucky and get that third one? I think we're going to have enough. Yep, there's 3. Nice. We even got a couple more. I've heard, I've seen some of my faction mates post screenshots of picking up some of these D-cell batteries in raids. I haven't been lucky enough to do that, but I know they're out there. And then I read on some of the forums that D-cell batteries will also drop on reruns, so farming on the roadmap. I haven't had that happen either, but that would be really nice. I haven't seen it confirmed yet, but hopefully that's true. It'd be nice to be able to farm this, especially with the numbers they're giving us here. 360 tokens, which would be 120 chances. So it'd be nice if we could get a good chunk of that without having to spend. I kind of doubt it'll be as high as 50 or something like that, but yeah, definitely. Heath is pretty solid. You know, I it's I'm gonna assume that he's not gonna drop that often, and that only a lucky few are gonna get him as always. But yeah, I mean the 85 to attack and defense is pretty beastly, and like I said, especially if you can AP boost him to go off early with like your 45s, it'll help off a lot. That's an interesting point, Vegan Chan, about quitting. We've had enough of these events with really quality tunes, um, available that a lot of people get upset when they put in work and feel like they're not getting what they're working towards. And so, oh, here's a Heath. Let's show this guy real quick. Yeah, there you go. 5-star Heath doesn't have one either. Good point. Um, But yeah, when especially top players, when we put out a lot of effort, and then you come up short, not only on that prize tune for first place, but just in general, when you feel like what you got wasn't worth the time you put in and what the options were, that you could have got more. We've seen people walk away, and so having another one of these events, I wouldn't be surprised if we see more people kind of fall out. You've sort of hit a point where we're seeing it anyway from just the way they're handling the game, let alone people being upset about not getting items. So it definitely has that potential. It kind of depends on what the drop numbers are like. I've already heard people get upset because their first pull was like a camp stove or some other, just elite rare gear. So I do expect there to be a large amount of the population getting upset in this event. We'll see how it goes. Turkey tokens, yeah. I got lucky, and I'm going to say that because the first pull I got was a Mirabelle, stunning Mirabelle on my first pull, and after that, it was a sharp downhill. I think I got like 3 4-star weapons. Only one of them was something that wasn't a 4-star that you can get from a drop. And then a lot of it was just trash tokens. I got, some 4-star weapon tokens and what other else was dropping. I don't remember, but it was pretty sad. So the only thing that made that a plus for me was the fact that very first pull was Mirabelle. I think if that wouldn't have happened, I'd been down in the gutter and just really upset. All right. Got some more people on, up to 7, man. Filling it up. I like this, streams just keep getting better. Definitely appreciate the guys that keep coming. Let's see. You guys want to go ahead and see this pool? What do we got? Let's do one more raid, and then we'll see what kind of luck we can have with this getaway gear. Let's see if we can find some resources or somebody better. I just seem to have really terrible luck getting people around my rank. I don't know if it's because there's a lot of ghosting on my region or not. Oh, was that? I see in your comment right here, Vegas Chan, about the 3 5-stars and 5 pools. Was that a video? I think I saw that. I had a title like, sorry Scopely, I broke it, or something like that. He had saved up all of his pool on the turkey tokens and got like 3 5s. That's ridiculous. That's the stuff that makes people upset. I'm not saying that you should have, a part of your code that keeps that from happening, because random's going to be random, and certain things like that will happen just statistically in randomness. But man, when people see that stuff and they've been getting crap, and you see one person get 3 5-stars and 5 pulls, whoo, people get really upset. Yeah, you're right, the real Rick. A lot of people are definitely going to be upset if they don't get Heath. And let's be honest, a lot of people aren't going to get Heath. All right, so this is something that I shouldn't take this team in to do. In fact, let's move past. For some reason, I got a bad feeling about that guy. Sometimes I'll take... Oh, there we go. We got a top 100. Let's see if my team's good enough. I think the fact that it's a yellow lead will probably be okay. See if we can get through old Tyrese here. There we go. And then it's pretty easy street, even though we got these reds in here. Like I said, if if that was Heath instead of Lee there, I mean, I'd be getting almost twice the buff, which is ridiculous to think about. So, I mean, he would slip into this team really well. And as I mentioned, I might even consider just bumping Krista out. Part of the reason she's in there is just playing around with her and seeing how it would work. Nice, some walkie components. I still haven't seen a D battery, but I have seen both the walkie components and the school bag leather. So that's kind of nice. All right, let's go see what we're going to get out of this thing. I do have a video coming out with all the details. I actually let the wheel spin through so that you can see all the options, and I'll kind of speed that up. So if you guys don't feel like sitting around and watching your wheel spin forever, I got a little easy way to do it. I'm going to throw up a couple pictures of the form. 5 stars available in there too. But yeah, let's see what we got going. First pull, there's a lot of different gear options. That's why I'm not going to be too upset if I don't get a tune, just because of how many options are in here. Got to kind of, it's the thing I always kind of preach. You got to temper your expectations when it comes to this crap. So I'm going to take a deep breath, and we'll see what we got going. That's a briefcase, guys. Number one is going to be a briefcase. It's gear. So, not going to start off on a high point. Maybe we can build up to one. Triple Krista sounds pretty nice. With the team I'm running, my defense team, because my leader isn't Shiva, I run somebody with a defense boost. I actually get Krista off with everybody else, or it should be roughly with everybody else, just because of the added AP boost she gets in that team. And yeah, but I can imagine, if you have 3 of them, especially if you can work out weapons and upgrading to the point that those ARs are staggered, and it kind of just keeps progressing the length of how long people are impaired. I mean, that's just a pain in the butt, and that's why Impair Michonne can be so deadly. She's not doing quite as many, but she's doing 5 turns. Being impaired for 5 turns that pretty much takes people out. Uh, 2 times Michonne before it. Yeah, luckily my region isn't quite that saturated. Somebody on my region actually picked up 2 of them in a big pull today. One of my subs, so gave him a shout out. But I'm not looking forward to seeing that team once it's beefed up and ready to go, because 2 of those double blade Michonnes is going to be a pain in the butt to deal with, especially a top player's got other things that they can piece around her. It's going to really make you have to decide who to attack first. And if she starts impairing people, it's just going to get really frustrating, if not deadly, for your team. So, yeah, definitely rough to see. Let's see, Damien Sailors. I got a 4-star Zachary, but I was happy to just get a tune. Hey, that's great energy to take towards it, man. That's kind of how you should go into them. And yeah, pulling anything. Zachary's pretty solid for a 4. Depending on how many 5s or what type of 5s you have, you can still work him in. Until your roster is sort of more chock full of 5 stars. So he's not bad at all, especially for, like you said, for something like this. There's tons of gear options out there. Like you saw, our first one was a gear option, so there's probably going to be a lot of gear pulled. Nobody's going to be happy if that's all they get, but it'll be out there. All right, what do we got here? All right, this is a red, but just because this guy is 430, I'll go ahead and give it a shot, because I mean, I'm assuming if his rank is that low, he's not going to be able to give me any trouble. But reds can be a B. Well, he actually has some quality reds. I don't. He must not raid very much, because this is a pretty. I mean, it's not a super high top team, but I mean, these tunes are pretty solid. I think if he put in more work, he'd definitely be higher than 430s. But there we go. Yeah, But those top teams, top 150, top 100 teams that kind of hide four alerts, they make me pucker up real quick. Yeah, I mean it's tough when it seems like a lot of people have that OP tune that you're going for, um, but man, you just got to remember they're so much better than anything else you can get otherwise. I think about that sometimes um, with like supply depot points. I have I have a few obviously OP Premier tunes that I managed to get in as you look at the team. And so when I see a lot of just Supply Depot tunes, I don't get very excited. I'm like, who do I really need as opposed to want? There's almost nobody that I really want. So just be happy you got somebody that's quality like that, because I mean nothing compares. So that's why it's big, saving up coins, being smart, trying to get what you can if you're not a huge spender. Well, I got a lot of good tunes, but the only one that would fit would be Barker. Yeah, that's tough. Um, it's tough when they put something out there you don't really have options for. But I mean, if you got Heath, I would definitely recommend trying to piece together some sort of melee for at least a tower team. Uh, you know, uh, Territories haven't hit wide. They're not in my region yet, so I'm not 100% on how well, what sort of things you need for a territory team. But I mean, there's a couple of these tunes that are really quality that even if you got them, you should find a way to use them. Should we mention that they threw in Barker, who is just over 2 months old? Now everybody gets him. Yeah. Um, it is a little bit weird. Think there would be I think there would just be a lot more excitement if they did make truly exclusive tunes, whether it be introducing as a new premier recruit and then not seeing him for a long period of time, or even if they gave a new tune as a war prize and then you didn't see it again for a good amount of time, like 4 to 6 months, like that. I think there would be a lot more excitement about winning one of those tunes or pulling one of those tunes, to know that you're going to be one of the few that has them for a long time. So um, that's kind of probably one of the good things here with Heath, because he's new and he's part of an event. I don't expect that we'll see him too soon. I could be wrong. Who knows? He might be the next war prize in 2 weeks, but I would expect that he'll be a little exclusive for a while. Not quite as much as Negan, because all the things you had to get together for that one. We still haven't seen him again, but it would be nice if they did something, more exclusive, or even like a guaranteed exclusive. I would be okay with that. Obviously, we're not going to see Holiday Negan, hopefully ever. I hope they don't bring him back next year. I hope that you either got Negan this Christmas, or you're not going to get that version of Negan ever. I think there's a nice, just cool factor, especially in a game like this with so many tunes that they're introducing. I think to have a few truly exclusive tunes would be great. It will make people more excited and energetic about going after them, knowing that nobody else will be able to match that. I'm not saying they should make something ridiculously OP to the sense that people might be screaming about game breaking, but to have a very quality top tier tune that would be exclusive, I think a lot of people would be excited about, and it would make a lot of people happy, at least in some small way. I think, as we've all seen, nobody stays too happy with Scopely for too long. Let's see what kind of bonuses we got. HP. Let's get some problems out of the way first. Let's do that. There we go. And then Joshua's not an issue. Like I said, there goes Krista. Always wait until the end. Let's see, what do we got here? Love your account. Can't wait to have an account like that. Yeah, man. It definitely took a while. It wasn't easy. Part of it, you know, I did get lucky with some new tunes. I used to do a lot of big pools. One when I was able to farm a lot more. Lately, I've just been getting a lot of surveys and like mailing list out of the videos, which is really pissing me off because now I can't do videos anymore because I'm just getting these offers for surveys and mailing list and like signing up for a Visa card, which isn't worth the time. So I haven't been doing coins very much. You know, they took away Where's the Smoke. I don't see the same return that they're claiming with the added 50 coin scavenger missions because they take way too long. The failure rate seems to be too high, and it's just not that big a deal. And plus, I've just been turned off with a lot of the things and how Scopely's handled recently. I've mentioned it. You know, I don't put quite the extra time in that I used to do those sort of things, to look at some of the Tapjoy offers. You know, I used to do a lot of the mobile app ones where you download and get to a certain point, or some of the offers for like discounts at certain retailers and stuff like that. I kind of just haven't put too much time, but you know, a good number of some of my best tunes I got from Premier Recruits. It's the only way to get the best tunes in the game. Lee, I got lucky when Telltale came around. Who else? You know, Mirabelle, who I have, but I'm not really using heavily right now. I got from the Turkey tokens. And then I got my two Andreas from Supply Depot. And then other than that, it's been events. You know, I've gotten 3, I think 5 stars from finishing in that bottom tier of solo events. So like raid events and level up events. I've gotten a couple of 5s from there. And it's been a slow process. For a long time, I wasn't in the top 3 faction, and so I wasn't getting extra 5s that way. I have been in the top 5 faction for a number of months now, and it brings in a few extra. But yeah, a lot of them, it's just been grinding out, saving up tokens, trying to finish it high in events. A lot of that takes preparation and patience, but eventually you get there. I feel like it's the same at each tier. You know, it takes a while to get a team full of 3 stars, and then once you get a team full of 3 stars, it takes a while to get a lot of 4 stars. But then once you get that first 4 star, they kind of start rolling in, and I feel it's the same for 5 stars. You know, it takes a little while to get one, to start building them up, and then once you get them, man, they roll in left and right. Let's see, Damian Sailors. They did that to 5-star Timothy. You had him for 4 months before he came out. Yeah, I do feel it seemed like they were a little bit more restrictive early on. You know, you would see a character come out in Premier Recruits, and then, I mean, you wouldn't see him for a while. Now, I mean, if you watch the wheel, anything new stays in the wheel, even though the chances of getting them are ridiculously low. It seems like I've never gotten a fairly new tune in a big pool that wasn't a premiere, that wasn't the featured one, I guess is the best way to say it. So if it was something that came out like the time before and I was pulling for somebody else and I got a 5 that wasn't the one they were featured, it was always just some random 5. You know, it was like how I got Dwight, you know, or what else? Hunter, 5-star Hunter Michonne I got that way. I've never gotten a really OP one on an off chance in Premier Recruits when I was going for a different featured one. Yeah, Mirabelle's really nice. I would like to work her into a team. I feel like I just don't have enough strong ranged characters to sort of supplant either my defense or my tower team. You know, if you've been with my channel for a long time, I went from not having any yellows to just getting quality yellows left and right. And it kind of started with me getting medium drop Rick in a raid tournament, and then after that I got heal overtime Rick, and then I got like Krista, And I got two Dwaynes. I call them two Wayne. I got those guys at once. So I started building my melee up because then I'd also picked up Lee from the Telltale tokens. I started just working hard on my melee, and then now it seems like my range just falling off. Even though I have a few quality ones in there, a lot of them are just kind of basic, like Vernon and Caroline. And I feel like Andrea needs a little bit more protection than that. Lee's also my only shield. I don't have a ranged shield, which I feel like is a piece of that. We got war prizes recently are just trash. Only good ones within past 3 months are Morgan and Aaron. They definitely need to step that up. Yeah, I mean, I feel like they did a slight step up this past one in the fact that they gave us all 5 stars that you can't get through tokens. So I thought that was sort of a step up. You can't get Wilkins somewhere else, even though he's trash. You can't get Pete by tokens, and so that was kind of nice that they're at least giving you a chance to get these characters that you can't easily get through, or that you can't get through tokens. So that was a bonus. Like you said, though, they're pretty trashy, and there's definitely more characters out there that in our entire inventory of 5 stars that they could definitely make available. But I mean, it seems like if Scopely is going to do anything to kind of correct some of the gripes of the player base, it's going to be baby steps. They're not going to do anything very quickly. Let's see. What else can we do? Give me some ideas, guys. What do we need to do over here? We want to open something. We got another raid. Let's see what we can find in raid. Nice. What do we think? 237. He's got some nice resources. I'm afraid of what these reds might be bringing. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. See? That's perfect. That's what I don't see. You scare me off with these reds. And then I come in here and this is going to be a cakewalk. Well, that was surprising. I didn't think she'd be going off that quick. I got a half a mind to pop Lee now and see what this does. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. I'm missing out on kind of maximizing some of my other AoEs like Glenn over there, but I think this will get me far enough. Yeah, I went a lot earlier than I'm used to. And I don't usually throw any ARs out round 2, but we were able to pretty much maximize damage on that one. Nice resources. What do we got? I don't think any of these are ready. Nope. 600. Got a building going. Man, so many resources. This is why if you guys saw my worth the squeeze on that recent ultimate weapon crate, I mean, I got 600 material here that I'm just trying to think of what to do with it. Obviously, I'll just end up throwing it into crafting something, but first off, I mean, if we just look at look at all this crap. 2,000 straps, 1,700 lead weights. I mean, this is all basically wood. 700, 800, 2,000, 1,800, 2,000. That's all wood. Battle items. Got 830 flashbangs, 500 grenades. That's all wood. It's, to throw wood into any sort of purchase and to make us think that there's any perceived value is ridiculous. Any upgrades on Shiva's claws? I do not. Part of it is because I'm trying to save up some parts. I have an armory series that I'm trying to get out. It's just taking me so long to get this first video pieced together because instead of pulling actual gameplay footage, I'm having to actually construct the graphics, and so it's taking up a big chunk of my free time. But that should be coming out in a day or two. I keep saying it's going to come out. I promise it's coming out. So that's part of the reason I haven't. The other part is I kind of been a little bit of a wuss about it. and just afraid of kind of spending resources, messing something out, and deciding that what she had before was better, and like resetting it and feeling like I've lost those. But I am going to look at plussing her up a bit. You know, being green and I have her as a lead a lot, it would be nice to throw another maybe AP boost on there. And it just having a lot of AP boost just really opens up some of the other characters you can use into making a top tier raid team in defense. Um, you know, it makes her pretty tanky right now. I mean, I guess I could easily go with replacing the first two slots, which would be easy, and I should probably get off my ass about. But that's something I'll definitely look toward. Part of it's, you know, I don't have a whole lot of unique weapons. I don't have a whole lot of characters with unique weapons, so I kind of just forget that it's something that I need to look toward upgrading. But yeah, it's something I definitely need to do. Thanks for reminding me, man. I'm gonna definitely put that on the list. We'll try and do something with that. What do we got? We're out of raid energy. I don't know. Yeah, huge bonus to both is freaking nuts, man. I can, yeah, I can only imagine what she does for your defense team. I mean, getting a huge bonus on both and being a 45 AR, like she's probably just pissing people off left and right, and that would be amazing to have. Congrats. Let's see what we got here. Complete 5 world stages. Well, we'll hit that up soon. Well, guys, I don't want to bore you too much. You know, we're done with the raid energy. We pulled that first gateway token. Didn't get very much, but that's kind of how it runs. I think we'll go ahead and stop it here. Thanks everybody that dropped in. Damian Sailors, the Real Rig, Vegans Chan. Thanks for commenting, adding to the discussion. I always love hearing feedback, questions, and kind of just spitballing things. Great for having everybody else that just stopped in and watched. I really appreciate it. You guys are the best. Thanks for adding everything to, the channel that you have. And hopefully I'll just keep putting out content that you guys want to see. I really appreciate it. Until next time, I'll see you soon. Like I've said, I'm trying to make streaming something that is more current, and I'll try and get a better job of maybe getting things scheduled a bit so we can kind of plan and schedule into it instead of people just having to get lucky and catching me on. As always, if you enjoy, go ahead and like, and if you're new and you want to see more and you haven't on this stream, go ahead and make this a subscribe. I'll see you guys soon.